rain today.
And we've been really loving this type of weather after some high temperatures recently. So we're gonna take advantage of the cozy environment and make homemade dumplings today. I've actually made dumplings a few times before, but every time I made them, I've been with family. The first time was with my in-laws during Chinese New Year. I've never actually made them at home from start to finish, but my husband has, so that's what we're gonna be doing today. In China, it's so easy to just go and get dumplings outside. There are so many places that make them, and they're very convenient and usually very delicious. So we don't necessarily make them at home because we have to. I think sometimes it's just nice to make something together with your partner and slow down a little bit. My husband is currently about to prepare some leeks he picked up earlier today. We will then prepare the dough at home, let it rise, and head to the supermarket. Making dumplings from scratch definitely takes some time. The dough prep and filling are both steps I've never participated in before, so I'm really looking forward to understanding more of the process. We're doing pretty much everything by hand today. There are plenty of machines and tools that can make this process a lot faster, and there's nothing wrong with using them. We just personally enjoy doing most of it by hand, as we do with most of our home cooking. Dumplings can be made and prepared in so many different ways. We're definitely not professional dumpling makers. We're just making them the way we like to at home, so this is just simply our version. I now realize why many people would probably like to eat them outside versus inside their house.
Yes.
It's a lot of work for sure. The dough is finished being prepared, so we're gonna let it rest for a while and head out to get the other ingredients. We've arrived at the supermarket and we will be getting pork and shrimp for our fillings, along with some vegetables and a few other ingredients. Once we got home, we started preparing the fillings. We're making two different kinds today. The first is pork with garlic chives, and the second is shrimp, egg, garlic chives, and sweet potato vermicelli. Just like the dough, we're preparing everything ourselves and doing most of it by hand. And this is where I started really understanding just how much work goes into homemade dumplings. There's the dough, the filling, all the chopping and preparing, and we're still not even at the point of actually making the dumplings yet. Excited for dumplings. They are a lot of work to make, but it's well worth it at the end.
I think the shrimp ones are going to be really good.
My husband and I are pretty good at working together. I've mentioned this before, but we don't have defined roles in our home. We do have preferences on what we prefer to do, but it's not like one person is always and only responsible for doing that task. We usually just observe what's happening, communicate, and fill in whatever needs to be done. I think that's made our home feel really flexible. We don't have to think too much about who's supposed to do what. Many of you have also asked this question. We actually worked remotely together for years before we ever got together. So teamwork and collaboration was part of our relationship before we were even a couple. One thing I've really appreciated about my husband since moving to China is the way he's allowed me to learn the culture for myself. Of course, I've asked him lots of questions over the years, and he's always been happy to explain things to me, but he's never tried to tell me what I should think about something or what my experience here was supposed to be. From the very beginning, he wanted me to take my time, observe things for myself, experience them, and eventually form my own opinions and preferences. And that made a really big difference for me, because when you're living in another country, especially when so many things are different from what you're used to, it can be really easy to rely on someone else's opinion. But there's something different about experiencing something first and then gradually developing your own understanding of it. Over time, that gave me a much deeper understanding of the culture because it became something I had actually experienced and formed my own conclusions about, rather than just something I simply understood because someone told me. I've naturally started doing the same thing with him when it comes to American culture. Just because something feels completely normal to me doesn't mean it's going to feel very normal for my husband. So I've also learned not to assume that I need to explain everything or give him my interpretation right away. We've both been able to learn from each other without feeling like we're trying to make the other person become more like us. It's been a really healthy way for us to experience each other's cultures. We finally finished preparing the filling, and now we are getting the table ready for rolling the dough and folding the dumplings. We like to make the wrappers in segments and not all at once, so we first start by rolling and forming the dough, cut it into pieces, and then roll out individual wrappers. After we've made a few wrappers, we'll move into the folding process and then repeat. The folding process is usually where I get a bit stuck, but this time we actually figured out a method that worked really well for me. I put the dumpling down on the table, squeeze the middle together, and then fold one side and then the other, rather than holding the dumpling wrapper in my hand like my husband does. I think the stabilization of the surface and using both fingers made it much easier for me. They're definitely not perfect, but I'm okay with that. I'm still learning and I definitely want to get better at making them, but also there's no pressure for me to get there. Nobody is expecting me to make perfect dumplings. There's no standard that I have to meet. I could just keep making them, practicing, and getting better over time because I want to. And I think that's something I've really come to appreciate about the way I've learned here. I don't feel like I have to immediately understand everything or do everything the right way. I can take my time, figure out what works for me, and let my understanding develop naturally. I think this one's pretty good. What do you think? Very good. Making all of these from start to finish actually made me think a lot about my family here. I remember the first time I made dumplings with my in-laws during Chinese New Year. At that time, I was mostly just excited to be included in everything, but now that I've actually made them myself from beginning to end, I appreciate it even more, because there's so much work that happens before you ever sit down to eat one. Preparing the dough, preparing the filling, rolling all the wrappers, folding every single dumpling, and then cooking them. I remember my in-laws and even my grandparents putting so much effort into preparing dumplings and many other dishes for the family. Usually, by the time we sat down, everything was mostly prepared by then. I've come to appreciate the process a lot more now. Food is more than just food, it's also about the time people spend making it for you. My husband's version and my version, and they are quite close, so good job. Finally, we had enough dumplings to actually cook them. We decided to make them 3 different ways: steamed, pan-fried, and boiled. After spending all the time making them, we were finally ready to eat. I think I have a better understanding of dumplings now. We've eaten them so many times, but actually making them from start to finish is a completely different experience. A lot of the things we enjoy with family are the result of someone spending hours preparing them. We didn't really need to make them homemade, but we got to spend the afternoon together, figure things out, make a little bit of a mess, and eventually sit down and eat something delicious that was made by ourselves. Thanks for spending time with us. If you enjoyed coming along, we'd love for you to subscribe and join us for more videos like this, and we'll see you in the next one.